Within the past week, not only did I unlock Damascus for the second time, but I've also unlocked DM Ultra and Dark Aether on a bunch of the new DLC weapons and Obsidian on some Modern Warfare weapons. So within the past 7 days, I have unlocked all of the mastery camos that Cold War and Modern Warfare have to offer. But a lot of people always ask me what my preferences on the camos are and what are the hardest ones to unlock. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to look at what camos are the hardest to unlock, what camos are the best looking, and which camos are the most worth it. Not only just for multiplayer, but for zombies and Warzone as well. If you're watching this video and you have above average or even just average comprehension skills, you know that everyone's going to interpret the camos differently. So when I talk about best looking, it's going to be subjective, and you guys can let me know in the comment sections down below what camos you guys enjoy the most and which camos you guys find the hardest to unlock. Anyway, let's jump in it because we're Alpha Sigma camo grinders here. In Cold War, I like the gold camo more than Modern Warfare's gold, and I also like the diamond camo more than the platinum camo, but I also like the platinum camo more than the plague diamond camo, and I'm not even going to include gold viper because I just have not liked how gold viper looks ever, and realistically, no one really cares about these camos for the most part. There's some people that would rather rock diamond and plague diamond or platinum over the mastery camos, but let's talk about them. The hardest camo by far, in my opinion, to unlock is Damascus. The challenges aren't hard whatsoever, and there's nothing that makes the camo grind difficult when looking at how the weapons perform in Modern Warfare. Where the difficulty comes is with how tedious the camo challenges are and just playing on Modern Warfare to begin with, where you pretty much have to rely on shipment and game modes like Ground War for streaks in your launchers just to get the camos gold. Because if you're playing normal 6v6 on maps like Piccadilly, you're never going to unlock Damascus in a well-timed manner. You are going to have a tedious grind, to say the least. So now that shipment is in the game, there's way easier ways to unlock Damascus. But even then, the challenge requirements to unlock mastery camos is just extremely high. 800 kills per assault rifle just to get the spray category done, and 100 mounting kills. That's kind of asking for a lot, and you can unlock gold on a weapon in Modern Warfare extremely quickly, especially if you're a well-experienced player, but then you get hit with the launchers, and you just have to wait for the launchers, because what happens in the early levels while you're leveling up your, say, RPG, for example, you sit there and start shooting down streaks, and you might complete the camo challenge for shooting down 75 ground streaks. But then, as you level up the launcher more and more, all of a sudden it's, oh, not only did you have to shoot down 75 ground streaks, now you have to do it again, but shoot down only specifically support streaks or only specifically vehicles. And the later you unlock those, the more tedious it can become, because you can go from shooting down 75 kill streaks to get gold to shooting down maybe 100, 200 plus, depending on how fast you're leveling up your launchers. And that's where the tedious part comes in for Damascus. But on paper, extremely easy to complete, just very long and tedious. DM Ultra is the second hardest camo to unlock. The reason it's the second hardest is because it's basically the same as Damascus, except the challenges aren't as requiring, and they're like, it doesn't ask you to do 7 marathons of shipment to just get kills done for a gun. It only takes 300 eliminations for the assault rifles, which take the most out of any class to complete, and there's only 2 launchers in the game, and the only difficult challenges in this game are bloodthirsties and double kills with launchers, and then the odd time getting kills while enemies are behind cover. The reason that getting kills with enemies behind cover is just dumb is because it doesn't rely on you being a good player to get your camos. It literally depends on what the other team or enemies are doing in the game to get camos. So it doesn't matter if you're good or bad, you just have to wait for an enemy to basically be head glitching to get that camo challenge done. The next hardest camo, or I guess the third hardest, is going to be Obsidian. Only reason this is a quote-unquote hard camo to get is because you do need to have gold on the weapon first, and then you need to get in whatever, let's say for assault rifles, in 200 separate games, you have to get 15 kills, which does stack. So if you drop like a 100 kill game, you're going to get a bunch of progression towards that Obsidian unlock. But the thing is you have to have gold as a prerequisite, and not only do you have to have gold as a prerequisite, but it just takes a long time grinding Obsidian. And the easiest camo by far to unlock is Dark Aether. Like, I think we all saw this coming. You're in a PvE game mode. If you can't kill zombies and unlock camos, you shouldn't be grinding camos in the first place, because it's literally shooting AI. And not only that, as much as it's frowned upon, there's glitches at the same time as well, where you can go God mode and have these crazy pile-up glitches that have been in Call of Duty Zombies forever now, but you can take advantage of those and get camos done even faster. For me personally, the best looking camo is DM Ultra. The reason I like it so much is just because of how simple yet how good it looks on Cold War. It doesn't look the best on Modern Warfare's Warzone, and we'll talk about that when we get into the what camos are more worth it section. But DM Ultra for me on Cold War's engine looks the absolute best. I love the color changing palette, and I just love how it looks overall. It basically is a purple, blue, and pink obsidian camo that moves. And speaking of obsidian, that's my second favorite mastery camo. I've grown to love obsidian. I absolutely adore how it looks in Modern Warfare and Warzone. I love just how simple and clean the camo is. And one thing that I absolutely love is that it covers every single part of the gun. I don't know why Damascus or DM Ultra or even Dark Ether don't cover 100% of the guns that they're on, but regardless of what attachments you're running, what variants you're running, Obsidian covers the entire thing. And props to the weapon bundles like the Anime Kilo and the purple Tracer Pack Grau for when you throw Obsidian on those camos or on those bundles, you kind of get colored tints to Obsidian. So you can have like a pinkish black tint Obsidian, which looks absolutely beautiful in game. Dark Ether's my third favorite of the bunch. 1, it's a moving camo. 2, it's Black Ops 3's Dark Matter camo, which is the OG mastery camo. 3, it's extremely easy to unlock, and it looks fantastic. Not only in Cold War Zombies, not only in Cold War multiplayer, but in Warzone as well. I would say by far it is the best looking camo in Warzone. I just rather would run Obsidian camo on my guns. I expect this to be a lot of people's favorite camos because it's pretty much the fan favorite of Call of Duty, especially when it comes to mastery camos, just because of the nostalgia it brings and how prominent Dark Matter has been in Call of Duty. And if you can do basic math up to the numeral of 4, you know that my least favorite camo out of the mastery camos is Damascus. This camo is a great looking camo, but for a mastery camo, visually, it's not worth it. Like, I would much rather get Obsidian or run Dark Aether while playing Warzone than throw Damascus on a gun. However, what contradicts my statement of saying I don't like how it looks, I definitely think it's the most worth it camo in terms of prestige and how big of a deal it is to have Damascus, because it's probably the hardest camo to date to unlock. That prestige alone just makes Damascus for me worth unlocking, because you can say I have the most difficult camo in COD history to unlock. And not only that, but I have it on every single DLC weapon in the game. For the same reason, Dark Matter Ultra is worth unlocking for me, just because of how much prestige it has behind the camo itself, especially because it has a calling card too. I think one thing that Modern Warfare should have done is emblems and titles for unlocking mastery camos. And I'm not talking the master challenges of like, oh, you can get the AK-47 Damascus emblem and Damascus and Obsidian calling card. I'm not talking that at all. I'm talking like a specific calling card that you get to like when you unlock Damascus. So even if you're not running the camo, you can run the calling card and say, hey, I got this camo. We see it in Cold War. We've seen it in like every single calling card collection where there's been mastery camos before, even in Black Ops 3 where the diamond calling card was the one that you got for getting gold on every single weapon. Cold War has it. I don't really know why Warzone and Modern Warfare don't. I know they have the weapon mastery calling card if you're psychotic enough to smoke 10 pounds of meth and then hop on COD and try and get every single Modern Warfare weapon mastered. But other than that, like, there's no calling card that makes Damascus worth it for me. But DM Ultra, Dark Aether, they have those calling cards, and it's just the prestige behind the camos as well. Obsidian is my third most worth it camo. The reason I think it's worth less than DM Ultra and Damascus is simply because you don't have to have a mastery camo to unlock it. While it's technically considered a mastery camo because, well, you're mastering a specific weapon, you don't have to have Damascus or any crazy camo to be able to unlock it. You just need gold for a specific weapon, and gold's pretty easy to unlock for some weapons. So you can get Obsidian pretty fast on especially some secondary weapons, and it has a little bit of less prestige, even though it looks fantastic. I would say look-wise, it's worth it, but challenge-wise and prestige-wise, it's not really worth it, especially for the enormous amount of grind that you'll have to go through to get it. And the least worth it camo in my perspective is Dark Aether. With it being a PvE camo, it does look fantastic in Warzone and in Cold War. Basically everywhere it is, it looks fantastic, and it's a fan favorite. But I don't find it worth it specifically because it's a PvE camo. Looks wise, it's definitely worth it, but prestige wise, it's not. Like, I don't ever see anyone with Dark Aether and think, wow, they're a good player, or wow, they put in a lot of time to grind, because you can get Dark Aether extremely fast without being a very good Call of Duty player to begin with. Looks-wise, fantastic, I'll say that, but anyone and their mom could unlock this camo. Like, when I look at a person with Damascus, DM Ultra, or Obsidian, I think, wow, that person put a lot of time into the game, and they're extremely good at what they do to unlock those camos. Never once do I think that with Dark Aether. And I know my is it worth it category is based more off of the camo's prestige and how rare it is in the game to begin with. Of course, you could say a camo's worth it because you like the aesthetic of how it looks, but realistically, with the prestige that is carried behind each camo and how much they are worth there, plus with how hard they are to unlock, that's what makes a camo worth it to me. And it seems a little bit backwards. Grinding Damascus is the hardest camo to unlock, but it's also the most worth it in my perspective. And now that I'm looking at my notes here, the hardest camos to unlock are also the most worth it in my opinion, just because of the prestige and just challenge that is brought behind a camo. And for those that like challenges and still haven't unlocked these camos, hopefully this guides you in a specific way, or at the least the video entertains you. Anyway, I'm about to head out. Use code WILD on gamersubs.gg for 10% off all your purchases. Help supports me and help supports the channel. If there is one, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.